My name is Roger Armstrong. I was born a psychic child in 1930. Protective intention attached. PIA, to prevent misuse. Hello, this is psychic training number 7. The other types of remote viewing and using the vision board visual aid. Now, the technique that we used, that I showed the kids, this remote viewing technique, was opening up a portal. Now, I did this with a group of 55, 65 people, and we didn't have much time, so I did a quick hypnosis for them. And they could remote view then within 5 minutes. Most of them weren't telepathic, so I couldn't do what I did with with the students. But I developed, from that student experience, I developed what I called a vision board. Now, this is the vision board. This is a painting by Van Gogh, one of his early works when he was a student. And look at the variety of greens and yellows in this. It's just rather astonishing. I like this better than some of his later works. Now, what we did with this is we picked a spot in the center. Now, this also will be downloadable for you. And we hold the board about 10 feet, about arm's length, like this. Pick that all right? And you slowly focus on one spot. I'm going to focus on this little spot right here. And pull it up. Focus on that spot. Focus on that spot. The painting becomes three-dimensional, and that spot opens up into a portal gateway. Once the portal opens up, I can enter the painting. And that's what the kids were doing with the paintings on the wall, except they were walking towards the painting rather than having the painting move to them. Now, when I did this with the group, and I had all these boards made for them, and they had to share some. This side of the painting, what you saw here was Van Gogh's vision. And of course, he added to it and made it more dramatic than it was. But off here was a contemporary reality. Now, we were in, this was 2004, 2004 or 2005. So when you went in and looked off to the right, you saw a couple, late 20s, early 30s, 2 children, 5 and 7, 2 children, 5 and 7, a boy and a girl. They were playing with a red ball, and behind them was an old schoolhouse that was deteriorating, an old one-room schoolhouse that was deteriorating. About half of the group went to the right and saw that. And I said, did anybody else see something else? And all the other hands went up. Well, what did you see? Well, we went to the left. And someone said, and there was a bench. And someone else said, by a pond. And someone said, there were ducks or a swan swimming in the pond. And someone said it was a swan. And someone else said, and there were little goslings following their mom, following the swan. And someone said, I didn't see that. They were just getting in the water when I looked. And so we built this tableau of action that took place that was at a slightly different time for each viewer. So I said, well, what does this all mean? Well, and a man said, this means we were seeing reality in our time. When I looked, they were getting in the water. When I looked, they were getting out of the water. When I looked, they were swimming in the pond. And there was another, there was a duck swimming as well with its babies following. But it kept out of the way of the swan. Well, interesting. Interesting that we're able to see one reality here of what the artist saw. We're able to see the reality that was there that the artist took his work from. We were able to see what was happening over here. And some people didn't see the picnickers. Other people said they saw them pack up. Other people said they saw them lay their picnic basket down. And so again, we had this variety that's taking place. So, I don't want to get in the philosophical discussion of what is time, but it certainly seems to be permanent in many levels. Otherwise, how could we see what we saw? How could my students, 30 students or 25 students, see what they all saw with a Monet? Does this mean as when it becomes past, the time is frozen in microseconds? And we can visit any microsecond? Oh, I said I wasn't going to discuss that, and here I am doing it. But interesting problems. Remote viewing is also used by all the governments in the world, all the major governments. They all have. The Czechs have the best program. The Russians are next. The Israelis have a good program. Canada has a good program. The United States is last, and the UK is close to last. Because they had people at the heads of their program that didn't believe in the psychic abilities. So you had these guys running this program that didn't believe in it. Now, is your program going to be successful? I don't think so. But there were still a couple of outstanding people who could get beyond these guys and do it. Now, for specific viewing, the painting is great to use. My son likes to go to, when he goes to New York City, he likes to go to the Modern Museum, and he likes to look at Pollock's paintings. They have a huge selection of Pollocks there. And he just loves the emotions that this man went through as he painted things. He was bipolar, and as he's painting, you get these surges of emotion and then surges of despair, And he's conquering it all and working it all, and you can feel this. For general viewing, if you need a visual aid to help you, now I don't. I can close my eyes, put my mind set, and go. I don't need to do it when I'm sleeping or in a lucid dream, though a lot of people do. And that's one of the lucid dream exercises, is to do a remote view contest, which is interesting. So I developed a generic remote viewing board, and this is it here. Now this is just faux granite shelf paper, and it's stuck onto a foam core. $4 or $5, and you got a dozen of them, And focus on one spot, arm's length, pull it up towards you, it gets three-dimensional, and you get your portal opening up. Some people's portal is like a camera lens. Mine is more oval. Did I go through? Now with remote viewing, like I said, you have the three forms, participating, just observing, or possessing. You have those possibilities. Now, this is Roger Armstrong, and I'm always interested in your comments.